You know those moments, like maybe you're trying to talk to a child, could be your own, maybe a nephew, niece,
Yes.
whoever, and it just feels like you're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, totally.
Or flip it around, maybe you felt that way. As an adult, you're trying to explain something, get something across, and poof, like the words just vanish.
That feeling of being completely unheard.
Yeah,
It's rough.
it really is. That disconnect, it's just a very human thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today on the deep dive, we're going to try and cut through some of that. We're looking at this really simple, but actually like profoundly powerful way to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It's called reflective parenting, and we're focusing specifically on how using reflections can seriously change the game in connecting with kids.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, and this isn't just, some nice idea. Our deep dive today pulls from The Power of Reflective Parenting. It really shows how these methods, they're backed by neuroscience, communication psychology.
Real science, not just theory.
Exactly. They genuinely strengthen those parent-child bonds. So our mission really is to unpack how just like repeating or maybe rephrasing what a child says, how that can build trust, unlock understanding, and boost their emotional smarts.
Emotional intelligence, yeah.
Right. This is for you listening. If you want that efficient, impactful knowledge to make a real difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's break it down. What are reflections exactly?
Well, at its simplest,
Yeah.
it's basically mirroring, repeating back, maybe paraphrasing what the child just told you.
Just saying it back.
Yeah. And it sounds almost ridiculously simple, right? But what it does is send this really clear signal. It says, hey, I hear you. I'm listening. What you're saying, it matters.
Okay.
And what's really interesting, if you step back, this isn't just a kid thing. It taps right into this, like, fundamental human need we all have.
The need to be heard.
Exactly. The need to feel heard. Think about it, like in your own life. You're in a meeting, someone actually gets your point and sums it up accurately.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel?
Validated. Understood. Yeah.
Right. Or you're talking to a friend. They echo back what you're feeling.
Hmm.
You feel closer, more connected.
Yeah, it's total sense.
So when someone reflects your words, you feel seen, you feel valued. And then you're more likely to open up, more willing to trust them.
And for kids, that must be amplified.
Oh, absolutely. They're
Thanks.
still figuring everything out. Feeling understood is like bedrock for their security.
It's like this instant feedback, validating their little world.
Right.
Okay, so the source material, it gives us like 3 main ways to actually do this reflection thing. Practical tools.
Right. It's good to have options. The first one, maybe the most basic, is simple repetition.
Okay.
You literally just repeat word for word what the child said. So if they say, I'm mad at my brother.
Just say you're mad at your brother.
Exactly that. No judgment, no fixing, just reflecting.
Okay, but hang on. That sounds so simple. Like, what if the kid's just whining? Or, trying it on a bit. Doesn't just repeating it kind of validate the whining? My instinct would be to jump in and like, fix it.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And it's a common worry,
Yeah.
But here's the key. Validation isn't the same as endorsement.
Ah, okay. Explain that.
Repeating their words doesn't mean you're saying, yep, you're right to be furious or your complaint is totally justified. It just means, I hear that you feel mad. I'm getting your message.
So it acknowledges the feeling, not necessarily the behavior or the reason behind it.
Precisely. And that act of acknowledging, it creates this little space, a pause. It allows them to feel safe enough to maybe say more or sometimes even to figure it out themselves, to self-correct.
Whereas if I jump in with don't be silly or here's what you should do.
You shut down the conversation. Exactly. That silence, that little beat after you repeat them, it's surprisingly powerful.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Validation, not endorsement, giving them the floor back. So what's the second type?
The second one is called mirroring. Specifically, it's about repeating just the last 2 or 3 words they said.
The last few words.
Yeah. This technique actually got pretty famous from Chris Voss, the negotiation expert, ex-FBI guy.
Oh, wow. From negotiation, applying that to kids.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, right? But it works incredibly well for building rapport and just encouraging people to keep talking. Not just in hostage situations, but like everyday chats too.
How does that work? Why just the last few words?
Well, it's subtle. You're not asking a direct question, which can sometimes feel like an interrogation. You're just gently nudging them like, I got that last bit. Tell me more.
Less confrontational.
Exactly. It avoids making them defensive. It just signals you heard them and you're interested. It works really well if a child is maybe a bit shy or you sense there's more they want to say but they're holding back.
So if a kid says, I don't want to go to bed yet, the parent just says,
Go to bed yet? The questioning tone, yeah.
huh. It's fascinating how these techniques cross over from totally different fields. Really shows it's about fundamental human psychology.
It really does. The core principles of connection, they're universal.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the third form is paraphrasing.
Okay, so this is more than just repeating.
Right. Here, you restate what the child said, but in your own words. The key is you're trying to capture the feeling or the meaning behind their words.
The underlying message.
Exactly. So say a child says, school is boring and nobody plays with me. Instead of just repeating, you might say something like, sounds like you feel pretty lonely at school, and maybe class isn't holding your interest right now.
Ah, so you're showing, you've actually processed it, you're showing empathy.
Precisely. It demonstrates a deeper level of listening. You're not just hearing the words boring and nobody plays, you're understanding the experience of loneliness and disengagement.
Like hearing, I'm tired, versus understanding, wow, you sound really overwhelmed.
Exactly that difference. It's about tuning into the feeling.
That feels like the real connection point. Okay, so we know what reflections are, the simple repetition, the mirroring, the paraphrasing. Now let's get into the why. Why are these simple techniques so powerful? This is where the science gets really interesting.
Yeah, this is the cool part, biologically speaking. It's the neuroscience of feeling heard. There's actual research. Klemecki and colleagues, back in 2013, they found that just being listened to activates reward centers in our brain.
Reward centers, like pleasure.
Yep. Think dopamine, that feeling of well-being. And for kids, when they genuinely feel heard by you, their stress levels physiologically go down. Wow. And you get this boost in oxytocin. People call it the bonding hormone.
Right, the cuddle hormone.
Exactly. So this isn't just a nice feeling. It's a neurochemical reaction that actively builds trust, creates emotional safety. It literally strengthens the bond between you and your child.
That's incredible. So listening isn't just polite, it's like a biological imperative for connection. It's actually changing brain chemistry.
It really is. It's forging bonds right down at the cellular level. Huge aha moment, right?
Definitely. Okay, what else?
Well, beyond that immediate brain boost, reflections are also crucial for modeling emotional vocabulary.
Helping them name their feelings.
Exactly. When you accurately reflect what they're saying, especially when it's about complex feelings they might not have words for yet, you're essentially handing them the words.
You're teaching them the language of emotions.
Precisely. And that builds their emotional intelligence. We know from research, like Denham's work in 2012, how vital that skill is for development. You're not just listening. You're giving them tools to understand their own inner world.
So instead of just melting down, they might eventually be able to say, I'm frustrated because this toy won't work.
Right, which is incredibly empowering for them. Think about how many adults still struggle with that.
True. Giving them agency over their feelings, that's huge.
Huge. And then there's encouraging problem solving.
How does reflection help with that?
Well, think about it. When a child feels really understood, when they know you've heard their feeling without jumping in to judge or fix it immediately.
They feel safer.
Exactly. They feel safe enough to maybe open up more about what's actually going on. They're more likely to engage with you in finding a solution, instead of just shutting down or getting defensive.
So it shifts from parent as fixer to parent and child as team.
Beautifully put, yes. They can be vulnerable, and that vulnerability is where growth starts.
Okay, that makes sense.
And one more really powerful effect, reflections are amazing for calming big emotions.
Dealing with the meltdowns.
Yeah, the psychologist Daniel Siegel has this brilliant phrase for it, name it to tame it.
Name it to tame it. I like that.
Right. When you name or just echo back a child's intense feeling, anger, sadness, fear, what you're doing is helping their brain regulate itself.
How does that work?
By verbalizing or acknowledging the emotion, you're engaging the prefrontal cortex, the thinking rational part of the brain. That part can then help soothe the amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, the fight or flight center.
So simply naming the feeling helps the thinking brain come online and calm the emotional brain.
Exactly. It can bring this almost immediate sense of calm. Like hitting a reset button just by acknowledging their reality.
Wow. Name it to tame it. That really sticks.
Yeah.
It shifts the whole goal from stopping the feeling to just acknowledging it exists. That's a big shift for parents.
It is.
Okay, let's bring this home for you, the listener. Forget the science terms for a second. Just think about a time you were struggling with something. Maybe you told your partner, a friend, a colleague, And maybe they didn't fix it, but they really listened.
Mm.
Maybe they just repeated back something you said or summarized how you were feeling. I remember venting about a work project once, feeling totally overwhelmed. My manager just said, okay, so it sounds like you're feeling swamped by these deadlines and the instructions aren't clear. He didn't solve it right then, but
Yeah.
just hearing him say that, I felt so seen, so understood. Did you
Mhm.
feel that way? Understood, supported. That's exactly the same thing reflections do for your child. It's the same human principle.
That's a perfect example. And we need to remember the specific good things that happen for kids when we do this. First, they get validation. Their inner voice says, okay, what I feel, what I say, it matters.
That's foundational.
Absolutely. Second, they feel connection. My parent gets me. I'm not alone with this big feeling.
Reducing that isolation.
Exactly. And third, it builds their confidence. They learn it's okay to talk about what's going on inside me. I'll be understood.
Wow. Validation, connection, confidence, those aren't small things. Those shape who they become.
They really do. It's about building their self-esteem, their ability to relate to others long term.
Okay, so for everyone listening now thinking, all right, I want to try this, what are some practical tips? Because it sounds simple, but doing it consistently, doing it well,
Yeah,
that might be tricky.
good question. Consistency is key and nuance matters.
Mm-hmm.
First big tip,
Okay.
stay neutral.
Neutral.
Yeah. Remember, the goal right now is just to listen and understand, not to jump in and correct or fix or judge. Fight that urge.
The urge to fix is strong.
It's so strong, but hold back. Let them feel heard first. The problem solving can come after that.
Okay. Resist the fix. Got it. What else?
Second, tone matters a lot. You need a warm, calm, genuinely curious tone. Because even the perfect reflection, if you say it with sarcasm or irritation or like you're mocking them,
It backfires completely.
totally destroys the purpose. Might even damage trust. Maybe practice saying things out loud. Hear how different tones change the feeling.
Good idea. How you say it is often more important than what you say.
Absolutely. Third tip, practice daily. Don't wait for a big emotional blow up.
Use it in everyday moments.
Yeah. Little reflections during playtime. Oh, you put the blue block on a red one, or you're concentrating really hard on that drawing. Simple observations.
So it builds a foundation of being heard.
Exactly. So when the big feelings do come, that channel of trust is already open. They know you listen.
Okay, that makes sense. Build the habit small.
And finally, number 4, find the balance.
Balance, meaning
Meaning, don't just reflect. If you only ever echo back what they say, it can start to feel weird. Maybe like an interrogation or just unnatural.
like you're a parrot.
Right. So mix it up, use reflections, but also offer praise. Ask open-ended questions. And sometimes, just be comfortable with silence.
Silence is okay.
Silence is golden. It gives them space to think, to process, to decide if they want to say more. Don't feel like you have to fill every gap. It's more like a dance, lead, follow, pause together, be present. Don't just perform the technique.
A dance. I like that metaphor. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big picture here? This deep dive really shows that reflections, they're way more than just repeating words, aren't they?
So much more.
They're like these powerful little signals of respect, of being present, of love, really. Building trust that lasts a lifetime. Fostering resilience, emotional smarts, skills kids carry forever.
There's a quote from the source material that really sums it up. When we feel heard, we feel valued. When children feel heard, they learn to value themselves.
Wow. That's powerful. It's not just about parenting, it's about building self-worth.
It really is.
So here's a thought to leave you with. We've talked about the science, how being heard lights up reward centers, lowers stress, boosts oxytocin, builds trust, helps kids name and tame emotions. If simply being heard does all that, what if we intentionally practice this kind of active, reflective listening more often, not just with our kids, but with everyone, our partners, friends, colleagues?
Yeah.
Could that fundamentally reshape our relationships? Maybe even change how we see ourselves, our own sense of worth? What other hidden powers might be waiting inside that simple act of truly deeply listening, just letting someone else be heard?